I almost dropped out of school. And now that is the time that I was getting so much harsh comments from this particular teacher. It's a male teacher and telling me, by the way, where hakuna mahali unaenda. And na hii performance yako, there is nowhere you're going. You're just a fool. And that thing really drained me. And I just felt like, this is too much. This is too much. So being at that point, sorry for that. They feel like you don't want to go to school, they feel like you're not a student or something else. And during that time, even people thought that maybe nilipata ball and I aborted, but I forgive you for that. I forgive you for that because I was very sick. I forgive you for that. If you say that, I know you did, and if you're watching this, I'm sorry, but nakusamea, like, I forgive you because it wasn't what you thought it was. So it wasn't an abortion thing because at that time I knew no man, like, I was not in any relationship, so there is no way I could do such a thing. So being at that point, going back to that school, so my dad decides, Aki, I want to take you to another school, though a private school.
And I can tell you wanna go since I lost my arms. I guess it feels so strange, but I'm only human. I need no sympathy, I need love. And if you can love me, you really don't need to stay. I'm only human. I need no sympathy, I need love. Oh, if you can love me, you really don't need to stay. So go! All you may need to know, I took a bullet for you. You didn't know cause you were half dead. I didn't wanna tell you cause I didn't want you to feel in debt. I need no sympathy, I need love. If you can love me, you really don't need to stay. I'm only human.
Oh yes, good evening. I'm only human. That is courtesy of Shuchi Lumumba. It is once again a great weekend. I hope you had a great Sunday, and it's that time of the hour that we get to sit down. And this time tonight on Ellie's Hangout, against all odds, my guest is a well-known figure on radio and of course in the media. And she is not just any type of a lady. She is the voice. Ladies and gentlemen, I introduce you, my guest, the voice, Tina Kaggia. Good evening, Tina.
Yay!
Hey, great to see you. Okay, I need to get
Good
my glasses
to see
too.
you. Oh yeah, I'm possibly the only person you know who wears glasses in the dark.
I mean, what is the secret behind the glasses? Are you hiding something from us that we need to find out about?
No. I'm not hiding anything. It's just something that I got used to over the years.
Yep.
It's like headphones. You'll never see me without at least 2-3 pairs of headphones on me at a time. And the same thing with glasses, like 3 pairs at a go.
You're one of the few people that I bump into, and you always have your headphones on. But in case you're joining
Yeah,
us, my guest is Tina Kaggia. Tina Kaggia, the voice, right?
the voice.
Tina, if you can hear me, go ahead. Kindly introduce yourself to those who actually don't know you.
Wow. So Tina is a lot of people, mainly known for radio. I got into the industry in 2010. Took a break at some point. So I'm a radio presenter. I'm a podcaster. I'm a marketer. I'm a creative, and currently an A&R as well, and a mother of three lovely children.
No way. Three lovely children. You don't look like a mother. Sorry, I don't know how mothers look like, but you don't look like one.
Yeah, how do mothers look? What do mothers look like?
I mean, I was expecting to see some evidence that come with it. But anyway, I wouldn't question your motherhood. I'm just saying you're looking too good.
Yeah. Thank you. My firstborn is turning 15.
Oh wow, wow, wow. Okay, guys,
Yeah,
guys, you
yeah.
you had it. You had it.
Nikombele.
Who
Yeah.
is your mtoto? I think a lot of times people get to see Tina and they imagine Tina is this tiny girl who is still in high school. Do you have those experiences once in a while where you
Ellie,
meet
can you hear
this?
me?
Yes, Tina, can you hear me? Go ahead.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you get to meet people and some of them assume you just left school or you are running away from school and they want to take you back to school by any chance?
Yes, I have been hit on by a 17-year-old who thought I was his age mate. I've taken my daughter to school at some point, and the teacher asked me if I'm there to present her mommy. So these are
Mhm.
things that I hear a lot. Yeah, and especially because she looks exactly like me.
Ah, okay, okay, great. I mean, ladies and gentlemen,
Yeah,
that is Tina Kigia for you. I mean, those are just but a few details about her. We are just about to find out who exactly is Tina Kagia. Tina, your journey, where did
yeah.
it all begin? And I don't want to go into, oh, I was born in that number of year, but probably you don't mind saying that, do you?
Let me tell you, the only reason I don't publicly say my age.
Mm,
I have no concerns about how old I am, but it's
mhm.
because in this industry, there are times that people knowing your age could cost you some jobs. So
Oh,
I prefer
really?
to keep that quiet. Yes, the people will say
So,
you're too young for something, or you're too old for something. So I prefer, and luckily for my face, you can't really tell how old I am, so that works.
well, you don't look that old. You look that young. That's what I'll say. But then
Thank
again,
you.
it's my opinion, and I don't mind whatever other people say. So, Tina,
Yeah.
anybody that
Yes.
can Google Tina right now, you'll see Tina, 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 Tina,
Uh-huh.
then Ellie. Tina, 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 then Ellie. Okay, well, not so often, yes. But
Yeah.
why is it that it's interesting to actually get to know your story? Tell us something about you growing up and going into the media industry. How did it all
The
start?
industry.
Yeah.
Okay, let me tell you something that people find bizarre, and it's actually the truth. I don't Google my name ever. So I don't know what's on out there half the time unless someone sends me a link. So growing up, I've grown in a very artsy family. My elder brother is one of the biggest artists that ever came out of the 254. It goes by the name DNA. And we grew up listening to a lot of music. I have four siblings. So we literally grew up reading and listening to music. So by the time I was like 4, 5, I could tell you a bunch of Bob Marley songs, Alpha Blondy, Lionel Richie, the Wailers, like that kind of music and everything. So for me, it's like I was literally born loving this. So what we do, like when my folks would go to work, we take
Yeah.
my dad's tapes and record over them, us singing and rapping and stuff like that. So
Hmm.
from there, I think that's where the love for radio came in. Though initially, that wasn't my plan. I wanted to DJ, but my folks wouldn't hear any of it because though, like, you're a chick, then you're gonna grow with age. You're gonna find a husband when you're always in the club.
Hmm.
It's unsafe for a woman. Yeah.
Yeah.
So radio was the next best thing. Yeah. But
Reggae
as a
was the
kid, I wanted
next.
to do medicine. Then I can't stand the sight of blood. Yeah,
You don't love blood.
I can't
I
stand the
mean,
sight of
I,
blood.
I
That's
I
the
mean,
only reason
blood just only
I
but
didn't
create
start
bonds.
doing.
That's what I think.
Let me tell you what, I don't even like the sight of my own blood, so there's no way to deal with the strangers.
Mhm. So, well, when did you exactly start radio? Especially if, I know the first time I heard you do. any radio item was back in the years. You were still on 1FM. I don't know if it still
Ah,
exists, but that's the first time I heard about Tina Kaggia.
1FM shut down, unfortunately. It was a brilliant place to work. It was a lovely station. I mean, we're the only ones who were playing purely local and African music, but that wasn't the first station. I started off at Classic 105 in 2010, right after I was done with,
Wait. You
yes,
started at Classic,
yeah,
then
yes,
went to 1FM,
in
and then at
2010.
one point, okay, fine. Tell your own story.
Yeah.
Don't mind me.
So I went to Classic, then I resigned. I got poached by 1FM. After a few months, I was poached back by Classic.
Hmm.
So I did a bit of a mix and match with the stations and everything. Then at some point, we went back to 1FM again, but I wasn't ready for radio. I was done with the media at that point.
Hmm.
I was
And
tired.
that's after how long
Yeah,
exactly
I was
were you
tired.
done?
Uh, that was that was what? Yeah, 2017.
Hmm.
2017. Yeah, I was done. Like I said, you know what, I'm not doing this thing again. I've done my time. It comes
Hmm.
with its own crazy drama at times. So I needed to find something else to do. And that's how I ended up working for the fastest growing company in the world, Sport Pesa.
Oh, okay. I think money has been your
And
friend for a long time. So tell us a little bit about your
mm,
stance at Port Pesa and how it went there.
uh, Sport Pesa, I was at that point I was actually the copywriter for Sport Pesa. And on top of that, I'd come in as a creative and a DOP at some point. So I loved it. It was nice. So it was the sort of place where you get to travel, you get to meet people, hear some really deep stories and everything. So it was fun. It was absolute fun. Like I don't think there's a company that was ever a good employer as Sport Pesa. Then, hey, then one fine morning on a Saturday at 5:03 a.m., a friend of mine calls me and asks me, Tina, you need to check your email. And I'm thinking, where am I checking my email? I was watching football with you last night. So what could have possibly happened? You seem to know what's in my email. I was like,
Hmm.
just check. I told him, she just sent me what he was like, Kazi Maisha. And
Okay.
that means for guys who don't understand, Swahili means, yeah, this your jobs are done. You've been fired. You've all been fired. 400 of us.
So this is, I should say, at the peak of your career. You've changed from what was
Yes,
becoming too much and into what is
yes,
now the real deal. And as you say, I mean,
yeah,
for those who know football and understand sports and gambling, I don't mean
yeah,
you have to be a gambler for that matter, but if you know the Kenyan brand Sport Pesa, then you know what it is about. It was
yeah.
money. And I suppose you're making a lot of money then, though you don't want to tell us your salary
Ah,
slip, right?
I can't complain, but it was good. It was dope. It
Hmm.
was dope.
And then one
Everything
Saturday
is
morning,
professional at the
5
end
in
of
the
the
morning,
day.
you're
Yeah.
told, Tina,
Mm-hmm.
it's finished. You
It's
are
a wrap.
done,
You're
and
jobless.
this thing is done. So tell us. I think that's where your real
Yeah.
story begins.
I think that was the hardest point. Okay, not the hardest. One of the hardest points in my life. Because
Hmm.
imagine you see this email and you know your kids are going to wake up in a few hours and you can't tell them at that point, because you need to plan.
Yep.
You need to plan how we downscaling, how are we, like taking charge of this situation. It was hard. I don't think there's anything as disturbing and gut wrenching as job loss, especially with a job you love and you have kids. Because you see, if you're on your own, you can easily say, this is simple. I'll move from a three-bedroom house, I'll move to an SQ. You'll find a way to adjust. Like, but you have kids who are used to a certain lifestyle. It's complicated. It can get very complicated. Yeah. So that was
Hmm.
hard.
So
Yeah. That was really
you
hard.
are there, I believe, with three kids to take care of course, rent to pay.
Yeah.
Did your
Yeah.
phone finally go off unlike other days? Because I know instances that once the money stops coming in as regular as it should, then all of a sudden you
Yeah.
have peace of mind. There's some silence that goes with your phone.
Yeah. There's that. At times it's peaceful and at times it's not, yeah. Like I'll give you an instance. There's someone who I've known since I was 13 years old, yeah. And so this is someone I've always considered a friend. And when I was at Sport Pesa, he'd call me every other time, Tina, throw me a bone, get me a job. And I'm thinking I don't have any hiring potential and everything. But the second we were fired, he stopped calling completely.
Hmm.
Like to the point where I'd text him just to check up and I get zero response. Then when the rumor started that the company was bouncing back, boom, guess who the first person is that called? Shamelessly, So people do these things.
So let me take you a little bit back, Tina, and excuse me because
Okay.
my mind is all over because I'm trying to figure out a few things
No
within 1
worries.
hour. Um,
Yeah.
how long were you out of normal employment when Sports Pesa came to an end for you?
I think it was a year. I
Mhm.
think it was a year. I need to kick someone out of this room. Chico, you need to leave. This is an adult conversation. Yeah, I think it was actually a year flat. Yeah, because I joined Nation FM in September. Yes, it was a year. It was
Mhm.
exactly 1 year.
Mhm.
Yeah,
And within that
yeah. So you
one
can
year,
imagine for a year, and then mm,
how were you making your ends meet? Because I know this so-called celebrity status was into you. You need to keep up to the standard. And I don't know about you, but do you jive around? And if you were, what was the
I
normal
do.
response in the streets?
I do. Let me tell you something I've learned over the years. Yeah, because first of all, me getting into radio was
Mhm.
never for fame. I've always said, and I tell people, I've always told people, I am not a celebrity. My voice is famous. The voice is famous. But once
Mhm.
Tina leaves those walls, I go back I become Tina Kaggia, James Kagia, and Margaret Kagia's child, not Tina Kaggia, the person who you hear on radio. You
Mhm.
know, so those are two
But you know,
completely
all
different roles
celebrities
for
say
me.
that. You know that, right? I'm not a celebrity. All celebrities say that.
But I'm not. I genuinely don't think I am. Like they're telling people, wow, like when was it? There's a day I had the meeting at
Mhm.
Kenya National Theatre, and I was
Mhm.
with an artist who I'm trying to work closely on some projects with,
Yeah.
and they followed me and they went wild. And I'm thinking, what's going on? This is so weird. Like, like back then the guy who has the mic is busy saying how I've just walked into the place. And I'm thinking, I just want to sit down and have my meeting and eat fish, you know. So for
Yeah.
me, honestly, I don't think I'm a celebrity. I've
Yeah.
never felt the pressure to live beyond my means or
Mhm.
try and be someone who I'm not, because that thing will kill you. It's gonna kill you. I know what it means to pretend for the cameras,
Yeah.
but I'm not gonna live that life. Mm.
Okay, fine. Again, I
Yeah,
will
yeah,
not pressure you on that, but there's something I will
yeah.
need you to tell us. And before you tell us,
Tell me.
everybody knows
Mm.
and understand what love is all about. And for every celebrity that exists, there is something about love. So, what is this about love? Is it
Uh-huh.
just stupid love, or is it love that we need to hear about? And probably that's where it gets juicy. So, see you after this song.
See baby, what you doing? Where you at? Oh, you got plans? Don't say that. I'm sipping wine, eating rope. I look too good to be alone. My house clean, my pool warm. Just shades cool like a newborn. We should be dancing, romancing in the east wing and the west wing of this mansion. What's happening? I ain't playing no games. Every word that I say is coming straight from my heart. So if you're trying to lay in his arms, I'ma leave the door open. I'ma leave the door open, boy. That you feel the way I'm feeling. You want me like a warrior tonight, baby. Tell me that you're coming through. Ooh, you're so sweet, so tight. I won't bite unless you like. If you smoke, I got the hate. And if you're hungry, boy, I got the late. Ooh, baby, don't keep me waiting. So much love it could make it. I'm talking kissing, cuddling, rose petals in the bathtub, boy, it's bubbling, it's jumping. I ain't playing no games. Every word that I say is coming straight from my heart. So if you tryna lay in his arms, I'ma leave it open. I'ma leave it open, boy. Ooh, that you feel the way you're feeling. You want me like a warrior tonight, baby.
That is, of course, courtesy of Nzomo Pictures. Nzomo is one of the gentlemen that we work with to make sure that we bring you these programs every single Saturday, Sunday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and of course on Fridays. So tune in and, of course, get in touch with Nzomo for these and more mixes, right? He is the man behind the keys. Back to you, Tina, the voice. So, Tina,
Whoa, that was a nice song.
it was a nice song. Reminds me of people leaving their doors open.
Yeah.
Did you let yours open at one point?
The door to watch my heart and my soul and my body and my mind. Yes. I think everyone
Exactly.
does that at some point.
So you did it.
Everyone does that at some point.
Because
I
I know people
did,
are
and I got
are
married.
busy doing their
Jesus.
homework. Is she married? Is she single? Especially, you know, the lovely thing about this sit down is the ladies will speak out,
Yeah,
but the gentlemen will only go to get
yeah.
for the very important information about my guests. And so don't worry if you're being checked on
They
right
can
now.
shoot their shot. They
They
can
can
shoot their
shoot
shot
their
if they
shot.
want. You never know.
They know what,
I
you know
didn't say
what
I'm
that says,
single,
right?
but I'm saying they can shoot their shot. I'm just not married.
You're not single, just not married. And of course, at one point, Tina,
Yeah.
you were the talk of town
Uh,
because of stories that
why? What did
I
I
might
do?
be knowing, but probably my guests do not
Uh-huh.
know about this. And especially if
Yeah.
you allow me to share something with you here and there.
Oh.
Did you
That.
lose your ring by any chance?
Uh, three rings actually, but the one you've shown is the latest one. So I
Oh,
had
yeah.
okay, let's put it like this. I'm not big on rings, like I lose them a lot and stuff. So at some point I had a physical wedding band, then tukakosana kiasi nikairudisha,
Ngoja
got
kwanza,
another
ngoja
one.
kwanza, ngoja kwanza. Before
Uh,
you get to even the wedding band, does that in any way describe those pictures I show you with some shawls on you and looking all African attire, something like that? Is that where the
oh my
journey
goodness, you have
started?
literally all my.
Oh,
Not
yes, I
really,
did
we
my
actually
digging.
did things backwards. Yeah,
I
so
did
the
my
photos you're
digging.
talking about,
Yeah.
that was my traditional wedding. But for us, we did it the other way around. First, we got married at the AG's office. Then the Rurasho came later. Yeah, so we did things a bit back. Yeah. So by that time, I was wearing a wedding ring. The Rurasho, yeah,
So,
an actual wedding ring.
okay, at
So
the
this
traditional wedding, you had your wedding ring, right?
I had a wedding band. Yeah, like I had
Okay.
a physical wedding band.
So,
Yeah.
how did it leave your
Then
hands to end up with that kind of a
with a
hand?
tattoo.
Yes. Oh,
With
it
that,
was a
because you
tattoo.
see, both of us. Yes. So, so both of us are into tats. Yeah, I have many tattoos. I have very many tattoos. Okay, they're not that many. They're like nine, eight, nine.
Oh, where
So,
and where, if you don't
we
mind?
had
Let me
this
just put on
idea.
full screen so that you can show us, if you don't mind. The most physical one.
Because, uh, wow, I have this one. You can't see it. I have a long sleeve there. I have that. See
Okay.
backwards. I
Is it
have some on
Chinese?
my wrist. Yeah, they're mainly this one. This one is
Yes.
Hindi.
Hindi. Yes.
Yeah, it's in Hindi.
And what does
Yeah,
it say by any
yeah,
chance?
yeah.
If you
Yeshu Roya, Jesus wept. Shortest verse
Okay.
in the Bible.
The next one,
Yeah.
the others are hiding.
And the ones on my wrist also. The ones on my wrist say Jesus wept as well. Then I have one on my left arm that says Imani, that's my daughter. Then I have one on the back of my left shoulder that says Cradle, that's my son. I have a sleeve. I have sleeves that says Kaya, Lion, Kagia. That's my baby, but she's not actually called Lion. It's a long story. Then I have a barcode at the back of my neck that says
Wait, the
it's a
barcode is
bunch
if
of
somebody
numbers.
wants
It's
to
not explaining
access.
it on.
Is the barcode for access?
Let me tell you, people have tried to scan it by the way.
Oh, Jesus.
Very people have tried to scan it, yeah. So it's a series of numbers that means some very significant things. I have forgotten any. Oh, then I have one that I got recently of on my rib cage. It says Tetelestai. That's Hebrew for it is finished.
Yeah,
Yeah,
what was
another one.
finished, Tina? Because you're throwing me everywhere. You are
That's
losing me. What is this that is finished? What is this that about Jesus weeping?
no, that Jesus works for me defines the entire Bible. The one for Tetelestai is it's something that Jesus said when he was on the cross. Literally, it finished just
Yeah,
before he
yeah,
went.
yeah.
But for me, it's not about
Enyoriad, before
death. It's
Enyoriad.
about living. It's about before Nyuriad. Yeah. So for me, it's not about Kunyuriani Kwanza life.
Okay,
For me,
yeah,
the end is where it began.
yeah.
Yeah. So that's why I got that one. And it was painful. My God. Because you know how small my body is. So you can imagine it's barely anything on the rib cage. Why? Yeah. What did you sweat?
Okay, so I want to
So
take you
then
back
there's
to
this.
where and why I am interested
Uh,
about this tattoo on your finger. Because for those who viewed when we
yeah.
started off, there's a clip with you with the bandage on your arm and stuff like such. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know if this is the wrong place to ask you this, but have you ever been to the rock
Uh-huh.
bottom before? Like, thanks to opening your doors. And how did that play along?
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. You see, let me tell you what. I believe it's saying things helps other people, yeah. So at some point I was clinically depressed. I was actually depressed for 2 years and I didn't know it. And it's a friend of mine who brought it to my attention. Akiongea na beshte yangu mwingine ndo tendo. Literally just, and I was right there, they were saying, where this chick is going to die. At the rate she's moving and the thing she's doing, she's gonna die because she needs to take care of it and she won't accept. And I told them, screw you, I'm not depressed. I'm Tina Kaggia. Tina Kaggia doesn't get depressed.
Mhm.
So one day he insisted, let me just take it to a doctor friend of mine and see what she says. And I went. And she talked, she listened, she literally just listened to me for a long time. And she told me,
Yep.
Tina, you're very depressed. You need to be on meds. I stood up, I took my bag, I was like, this is the rubbish you come to tell me here. I'm not depressed. I am Tina Kaggia. She told me, okay, you'll bring yourself here in 3 weeks. So if you're not here in 3 weeks, you'll end up in a body bag. The 3 weeks even end. I literally packed a bag and told her, you need to admit me because if you don't, I'll throw myself in front of a bus or do something like that.
So, what was happening
And
at
all
that
that was based on
moment for you to actually get to that level, Tina?
a toxic relationship, an extremely toxic relationship. Like it was bad. It was really, really bad. Yeah. To the point that now I literally had no friends. It was very hard to explain to family what was going on because it had been such a 6 cycle carousel every other time, back and forth, back and forth. Of course, the details I would not go into, but
Okay.
a lot of it is out there. Unfortunately, I personally wanted to handle everything very quietly, but everyone thinks differently. So yeah, I was literally clinically depressed. I was in hospital how many times?
Mhm.
Nairobi Hospital. I think like 3 or 4 times admitted for long stretches, long
Mhm.
stretches. And that's the point where I said I was tired with the media. I was like,
Mhm.
there's too much going on. I'm being thrown in the limelight for things people don't even understand. I've always had a very clean record of, just doing my work and everything. But then suddenly there are these stories, which half the time I don't even know. People would send me links to the
Yeah.
point that I used to get panic attacks, like physical panic attacks, and get sick if someone sent me a link to anything. Even before I open it, I'd see a
Yeah.
link and I'd get sick. It
Yeah.
actually took me a very long time to comfortably open a link that anyone has sent me. And sometimes I still feel it, like, oh my God, why is Nani sending me a link? They don't usually send me links, what's in it, yeah. So that's
Mhm.
why I told you I don't search my name. Yeah, I never search my name.
So,
So yeah, it's possible.
at what point did you notice that,
Mm.
girl, you are doing very bad, and what were some of the triggers that used to bring you to that level?
I'd hear I'd hear this person coming into the house
Yeah.
and I'd go to the shower. I'd go to shower, to lock myself in the shower because I'd keep a bottle of whiskey in the shower.
Mhm.
Such that when someone comes in, I don't have to have any interaction with you. By the time you're actually in the house, me, I'm out. I'm out like a light. There was that. Then I also realized I stopped. It has nothing to do with what I do now, by the way. Let's get that clear. Yeah? Because I've always liked shades and hoodies. You see, that's what I'm wearing right now.
Mhm.
But then I realized I'd never leave the house without shades, a hoodie, and a snapback, regardless of the weather, whether it's freezing, whether it's raining, whether it's hot. And I didn't open my bedroom curtains, I think, for a year.
Yeah.
And it's a friend of mine who noticed. Yeah, this same friend of mine, because he was like, I want to see your bedroom, and I'm like, that's the weirdest thing in the world. Why would you want to see my bedroom? He was like, I just want to see your bedroom. I told him, go see my bedroom if you want. And he looked at my bedroom and he came out and he was like, you have a huge problem. When's the last time you opened your curtains? When's the last time you made your bed? You know, when's the last time? Like, he noticed a lot of things that were off that would typically not be a typical bedroom. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, that would typically not be a typical bedroom of someone who's doing okay. Yeah, I stopped talking to people. I stopped going anywhere. Like, all I wanted to do was sit in my room. And I started getting some very bizarre thoughts, very dark, disturbing, and well processed thoughts. So by the time I actually went to the hospital and told this chick, yeah, you need to admit me or I'll throw myself in front of a bus, there are a lot of things I'd considered. I'd stopped driving to work because I was very sure I'd get myself intentionally onto a Yakiway and in front of a truck. And at that point, it's so deep, you don't think about anyone else. You don't care how anyone will feel. You just want to be at peace.
So ideally, you
Yeah.
tried
So you
to
just really
commit
want to.
suicide or take your life away, if that's what I'm understanding.
Yes, I did. I did. I did. And I almost succeeded, unfortunately.
Almost. Tell me
Unfortunately.
the closest you came to almost succeeding with your mission.
A coma for 9 days. I was in a
Wait,
coma for 9 days.
how did we miss that? Was it reported? Okay, I'm trying to make this light. I'm not taking it lightly, but I'm trying to make it light.
I know. I know. Yeah, it's the truth. It's a story I've not talked about often. And the day I finally write my book, I'll put it in detail. Because today, to me, there's some details I don't have. I was just, it was what guys were telling me. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was what guys were telling me. Because when I woke up, it was messy. I couldn't speak. I had tubes everywhere, in and out of my lungs and my throat and everything. Like, I look at those X-rays to date and I shake. Like, it was messy. I just thank God that no one was brave enough to take photos. So they were saying, if you saw those photos, we don't know what you'd have done. It was messy. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it was messy.
So
And by that time, obviously, I'm thinking like, hmm,
go ahead. Go ahead.
yeah. So you see, even I didn't know. Like, I woke up. Wow. What? Ah.
It's
Yeah,
okay.
even
Take
this
your
pain
time.
still bugs me.
Take your time. Take your time.
Yeah. So I woke up. I woke up and I thought I was back in hospital being treated for depression. But then I realized there was something that was off. You know, I caught with all these pipes and where my hands tied to the bed and everything. Yeah, then that's when I found out what had happened and popped a box of Valium and something else. I don't even remember. Yeah. So I woke
So
up after 9 days.
meanwhile, you are there in the hospital and you just woke up from a coma. What was going through your mind about your children? Because I believe by then you still had your 3 children with you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So when I could speak, that's the first question I asked, where are they? That's
Mm-hmm.
the first question I asked, where are they? Yeah. And so, let me tell you, depression is
Yeah.
such a cunning, messed up thing that I'd never wish on anyone. Even after leaving the hospital, that time I was having a conversation with her and was like, you should never try this thing again to do what? In my head, I was like, how will you do it? I
Mm-hmm.
didn't say it out loud. Never have, thank God. Yeah, because I actually healed and everything. But yeah, it's a very sensitive thing. It's something that needs to be handled extremely carefully. So when your friends tell you they're depressed, don't tell them that you go have a drink and to do what. You need to take it seriously. Yeah. I know someone who, God rest his soul, I know people who've done crazy things. I know someone who set himself on fire. He was only 21 at the time.
Mm-hmm.
I know someone who was going through stuff and he'd actually tell his boys. So
Yeah.
every weekend, the boys club, they meet at the local. They have one to tell him to lay out a graffiti. So one day he told them, let me go, I'm coming back. He went, made sure his wife wasn't in the house, locked himself in the room, akawasha jiko.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I know a bunch of guys who've gone in some cruel ways. Like, no one should get to that point. So when someone tells you they're depressed, they're not sad. It's not sadness. It's not anger. It's not loneliness. It's a ball of so many things at the same time, and no 2 minutes are the same. It can
Yeah.
move from anger to self-hate to hating someone else to suicidal thoughts to a state of numbness. So So it's not something that anyone should ever take lightly. And people get depressed for many things. For me, it was a bad marriage, you know. It was a bad marriage. For someone else, it could be something else. Maybe they were abused as a child or even as an adult. Because people don't talk about these things.
Yeah.
Yeah. So with support and someone actually being willing to try and do the work and try and get better, you will heal. Yeah. It's not something that should ever kill you. You will heal. And if you have to get on meds, you get on meds. I know the meds can be uncomfortable. I was adding a kilo a day. And you've seen how small I am, yeah? Imagine I'm
Wait,
adding a kilo a day.
you are adding a
And
kilo
then
on these kilos that you have or on kilos that you didn't have? Because the Tina that I've seen before.
I did, wow. Wow. I even forgot. Do you know how heavy I was by the time all this was happening?
Mhm.
39 kilos. 39 kilos. But
Wait,
you're almost blown by the wind, like literally. I
you
was
are
39
39
kilos.
kilos? Tina, what exactly was happening to get to 39?
Yes.
I'm sorry to ask that not so clever question.
When you're stressed, you don't eat, you don't sleep. And for as long as you're not sleeping, you start to lose weight instantly because you're burning too much energy. Yeah, you
Mhm.
know, there's too much whiskey going on at the same time. You know, like these, you just, you're just not in your element. You know, you're not taking care of yourself properly. So yeah, 39 kilos. That time I looked at myself in the mirror and I was like, my God, who is this shit? Because right now, as small as I am, I'm
Mhm.
what? I think about 49. Yeah, should be about 49. So imagine, take those kilos off me. What am I left with? Look skeletal.
Okay.
Imagine. Like people who see me now and saw me then, you can't believe it's the same person.
I would
Ah,
love to laugh about that, but it's not so funny. I'm just trying to imagine 39 kilos for an
yeah,
adult. That is more than
yeah. I can
underweight.
laugh. Oh, imagine. So you can imagine I'm 5'1". Yeah,
Mhm, mhm,
naturally small. Then you
mhm,
take off those kilos. How do you look? You look like some emaciated child.
mhm.
You look like an emaciated little child. Yeah.
And your
Then you get you
children
notice
were
what your
there.
eyes are looking like because they're covered the whole time.
Sorry to
Yeah.
interrupt, but your kids
Luckily, you
were
see,
literally seeing all this happening, or were they away from the scene?
some of it, some of it, there's a lot that I managed to hide very well. But you
Mhm,
see, like the last two are quite young. The first one saw quite some stuff. Yeah.
mhm.
My son had become quiet, but that
Yeah.
was because he didn't understand what was going on at home. You know, one day he sees this guy, the next day he doesn't see this guy. This guy is not there for 2 weeks. He's there again, then suddenly he's not there. So it was very confusing for him. My last one was really young because I walked
Mhm,
out when she was a year and just turning 2 months. Yeah, so she has no recollection of some of those things. Yeah,
yeah.
because she was 1 year. No, actually, she was 1 year, 1 month. 1 year, 1 month. Yeah, so that's when I left. That is
Okay.
when I left.
So
Yeah.
there you are, sick. And I want to
Mm-hmm.
really get
Yeah.
this not because I want to make a pity party here, but I want the rest of us that are there to actually take something away from it. And
Yeah.
for those who do not know, during this period, there was you leaving your jobs in between and switching and trying to figure out a life. And
Yeah.
there were stories that you were actually going at one point to work with red eyes, and you literally put on your glasses to concede this. How true is that?
To cry. Oh, because of crying all the time. Because of what? Usually, don't Google my name.
Probably crying, probably because you were having some not so, as you call it, toxic relationship happening. And I mean, I'm
Um.
just trying to figure out how you will manage to go to work and hide all this and go,
Uh,
hello, this is classic 105 Tina Kaggia, blah blah blah, and you say it all out like nothing happened because the show must
yeah.
continue.
Yeah. Yeah. And the second the mic goes down and you're sure, because you see, like at the classic office, they had this. I don't know if they're still there. These blinders that you
Hmm.
could pull down, like if you don't want the people in the next studio to see you. So I'd make sure the ones behind me were only shut, and the one ahead of me, especially the one ahead of me, was shut. So the second the mic goes on, hey, how are you doing? This is Classic 105, good times and great hits. I am Tina Kaggia, blah, 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 it's your classic cafe. Link is over, mic is down. Try. And by the time the mic is back up, you're good. It's very unfortunate and it's very sad, but that's what was going on. At times I just sit in the car and cry.
Mm-hmm. So what
Yeah,
made you go through
yeah,
all
just sit
that
in the car.
period? I mean, at the end of the day, you had a show to show up to, and you had children to take care of. But
Yeah,
what was the only little strength left in you that kept you going?
because I don't believe in failing. So in my head, I thought it was a bad approach. In my
Mm-hmm.
head, I did not fail at work because I'm a bit, I've had I'm a workaholic. I wouldn't be surprised. Maybe I have very awkward working tendencies. Maybe it's something I should cut down on a bit. So I
Mm-hmm.
don't fail at work and I don't want to fail on the home front. So you
Mm-hmm.
see, because there are people who'd notice like at work and they'd sit down with me like when we're having lunch and they'd ask
Yep.
questions and I wouldn't tell them anything. It's only two people who actually saw me having a nervous, what is it called, a nervous breakdown. That was Tina Kaggia. You saw a bunch of them, and Mike Mondo. Like with Mike, I lost it completely. Like I was uncontrollable. I was screaming. I was crying. I was literally falling all over him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like all he could do was look at me in such a sad way. I was even reminding him about it the other day. Yeah. So I had a complete nervous breakdown because you
Yep.
can't keep it in forever. And then
Mm-hmm.
naturally I'm an introvert, yeah. So I'm
Yep.
the loudest introvert on radio, but I'm a complete introvert. So if you're an introvert, you don't tell people stuff, and you're also
You
thinking, how
close
many
it.
times can I keep talking about what's going on at home?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, you know.
So there you are.
And then on top of
I
that,
I
you see, it becomes
believe.
harder. It becomes harder because you're in the media. Mm.
Mm-hmm. I believe, like you say, there you are, everything is not working. And then there's one final thing you need to deal with, which I showed before we started off.
Yeah,
It's now the
yeah,
finger transforming to a wound. You have a story
yes.
with that, right?
So yeah, so it's this finger.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this
I'm
is my
happy it's
left
not the
hand. This
middle
is
one
where
because then people will
the ring.
misunderstand
So
us.
yeah, but whenever I do this, people still think it's the middle one. So, so what happened was we tattooed our wedding band. Yeah. So I had a letter N on my finger, and he has had I don't know. He had a letter T. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So now when I left, it used to bug me completely. Like I'd see it and I'd get annoyed. So at first, what I did was a cover up. It looked like a pineapple. It was so cute. But then still, I knew what was under, and I didn't want that memory ever. So I found these guys who do laser removal. So the first session went all right. The second session, nothing really happened. They told me that happens sometimes. And the third session, woo, that's when you're like, yo, first this thing at the end of it, because it's not even supposed to hurt much after that. Just like it just feels like a stinging pain for a few days. Something and then it started turning dark, like really dark. It looked like I had tattooed a black patch. So I called these guys and I sent them photos and asked them, yo, what's going on? And they're giving me some very silly responses, which didn't make sense, but you're like, this is their field, so maybe they're right. So
Yeah.
one time I go to visit my folks, and you see the photos where I've been wearing a bandana. I was wearing a bandana over my wrist. They thought it was swag. It wasn't swag. So I was covering it up as I try and figure out. So my mom insisted, no, tomorrow over your lunch break, we'll go and get your hand checked. So I leave the office, I go to the hospital, and this doctor looks at me and she's like, I'm not even prescribing anything. You need to go to Mata right now and find this guy and book a surgeon because, yeah, you could lose your wrist. And I'm like, what the, So now I decided here, I will seek another opinion. Yeah. So now I called, because first I went and told the surgeon, and he was like, this thing is urgent. You need to do it like ASAP. I need to book you into theater. First, I've never had a surgery before that. Okay, apart from maybe when I was out and I don't know. Like I've not had a surgery, so it's scary. So I called a friend of mine, God rest his soul. His name was Kirubi Karaoke, was possibly going to be the best surgeon that ever lived. So I called Ruby and I'm like, Ebu, I need you to look at my hand and tell me what's going on. And he says, yeah. So, and I'm thinking, I have so much going on. I have a trip. I was going to Bungoma, then to Kisii, then fly back to Nairobi at some point. I don't know from where. Then fly to Mombasa, then fly back, then drive down to Mombasa. Like it was around Easter, and there was a family holiday that had been planned for a year. So I told these guys, now you have to find a way to keep me out of this pain and show me how to take care of my hand because I have to travel and I can't cancel anything here. So that took me about 8 days. Yeah. Then let me tell you, people need to be careful with painkillers there. There's a painkiller that I found. I was even talking about it with a friend of mine today out. I don't know if I should mention it. There's this
For the
painkiller,
sake
it's really
of not
strong.
getting people
Called
to it,
Indiana Chicken.
just describe it and not really mention
Yeah,
the brand. Yeah.
yeah. It's a very strong painkiller that you should never be able to get over the counter. How I came to learn about that painkiller, I was in Diani and I felt the ones I was using were not working. So I walked into a chemist and they sell this stuff to me. And then I start Googling it after that because after I took the first one, I was having some crazy hallucinations. Then you was drifting in and out of sleep. After 3 days, I was like, no, I can't take it. So it turns out it's also extremely addictive. Extremely addictive. A lot of countries have banned it. So you're high on these painkillers and everything. You're in the middle of a holiday. You're stressed about a surgery. Yeah. And so, yeah, that's how it happened. So I don't know why people started rumors that I almost lost my hand. You almost got amputated. No, there was a possibility that I could have lost my finger. But some people decided that my hand was gone. We pray for Tina. And I'm thinking, good,
Because
my
I
hand
have
is
it there,
intact.
they say your finger,
Yeah.
you almost got your finger amputated. I suppose not the hand, right?
Trust me, I had all sorts of things. I should actually Google my name one of these days
You
and see
should.
exactly
I'll
what's
tell
there.
you what. I'm not
Yeah, so
telling
that's
you
what
here. I'm just
happened.
trying to be nice, actually.
Eh?
Yes.
Yeah, but I know there's some crazy stuff out there. I've had some of it, yeah, and you're like, ah, yeah, I'm talking about the same person. But there's another. I have an in it. Yeah, so that's what happened. So it was really bugging me, and I was like, I'm not gonna live with this as a last reminder of something that I've walked away from completely.
Yeah.
So yeah, I had my surgery. Yeah, and my hand was fine. But honestly, don't tattoo a ring again. Just wear one. It's not worth the drama.
Somebody in the comment section was saying you have so many of them, and I was wondering, not again, Tina, did you just tattoo somebody else's name because then you need another laser off your back?
Whoa! Let me tell you, the only people whose names will ever be tattooed on my body are my kids. That's it.
The
That's
N was
it.
the
And my
N was the
family
end
name,
of
my
it, right?
surname. Yeah.
The N was the end of it on
But,
your finger.
Let me tell you, even when I get married again, by the way, dude, you're gonna buy me a nice expensive ring.
Mm-hmm.
If I lose it, you're going to replace it. Why me? Tattoos are done.
Done. It's
Yeah.
completely done.
It was a dumb mistake. That was a dumb mistake. And I should have hit me how dumb it was because
Yep.
you see, it would have been one thing if you're doing the whole puppy love thing and you're like, oh, this is so cute. Let's get tattoos. No, you've already seen the drama, some of it, and you're like, what is this I have just done? I think it was a moment of madness for both of us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It is alleged that you
Yeah.
actually
So that's
met in 11 days and got married within 11 days. It didn't even take you 90 days.
First of all, in Kenya, let me tell you, because people don't understand. If you walk into the AG's office tomorrow, tomorrow is Monday. For 3 weeks, 21 days, it has to be gazetted that you declared your intent to marry Tina. After those 21 days, that's when you could possibly get another waiting period. And if there are many people who've decided to make big mistakes at the AGs, the list could be very long. Yeah. So I don't understand how you can get married. This is not Vegas. Allah. This is not Vegas. Why are you getting married in 11 days?
Okay, fine. At least you made it clear. So how long did it take?
Well, unanikumbusha vitu mingi because we lived together for 7 months.
Mm-hmm.
So 7 months, that's calculation. We were together for a while. You don't just 11
So that theory
days.
of 11 days doesn't exist anyway. Fine.
It can't happen in this country. It's impossible.
So Tina, as we try to get to the end of this, because I see time is not really on our end, I want to take you again back to, because I like more of what we call in Swahili kisengere nyuma, telling a story as you go behind. I love that kind of style. So now you are here and then you receive a call. Tina, we want you on radio. after so
Yeah.
many years out of radio, how did that
3 and
change?
something. Yeah.
Yes.
Everything. You see, when I was at, let me tell you, when I was at, I think I told you on this, when I was at Professor,
Hmm.
there's a time I needed to record something, and the studio we used to use was, they were having an electricity issue. So I ended up meeting coincidentally someone who works at Nation FM, and we talked. I told him, yeah, I need help with this and everything, and he sorted me out. And then tells me, maybe you should come back to radio. I laughed. I told him, I'm not coming back. He was like, Tina, you'll end up here. You just wait and see. So I laughed about it. And a few months after that, it started bugging me. Like I see some of the guys I worked with and everything, and to bother me, like, I kind of want this back, but I'm not sure because I love where I am, but I kind of want it back and everything. So it bugged me for a long time. And even I was telling son, like, I think the media bug has hit me again, and I want to go back. But will I be as good? I mean, it's been almost 4 years. Will I be as good? You know? So
Hmm.
one day they called me. I was actually at my friend's house, and he'd also just landed a new job because we used to work together as professor. And I get this phone call, and I'm like, yo, okay. Because that's the time we just started the podcast. And I was like,
Hmm.
my God, you work in mysterious ways. All things of feeling were meant to come together eventually. So yeah, it was great. I mean, it's great. I
Hmm.
think like I got into that studio and I felt the way I felt when I started radio. That's when I knew I was ready to be back.
Great.
Yeah, that's
I
when I knew
want
I was
us to
ready to be
take
back.
this short break, Tina, and when we come back, I want you to do it like you do
Mm-hmm.
when the voice takes the microphone at 6 a.m. on the dot in the morning, and give us that intro right after this.
All right,
Yeah, hanging out with Tina Kagia. The voice.
dope
Kindly
jam
give
as
us that
well. Hey,
miraculous.
you're on a roll.
Say
Yes.
again. Give us that intro that you give every single morning so
Oh,
that
I'm
people
so sorry.
can actually relate that this is actually the voice herself.
Things will get better playing on 96.3 Nation FM where good music is. Good morning, how you doing? I am Tina Kaggia on your Monday morning fix. And of course, we'll be catching up on everything that's going on around the 254. It's Man Crush Monday. Who am I going to be hosting? You'll find out in just a bit.
Of course, I'll be coming across the continent. My name is Al Liquiani, hanging out with Tina Kagia on Alice Hangout. Tonight, we are talking about your story, better days just about to come. Back to you, Tina, in studio. Manze, tunaweza
Ah,
kapula eh?
lovely.
Tunaweza
Tunaweza
kapula.
by the way,
Should I say
tunaweza,
pull
kanaweza.
up?
Yeah, alafu tukafunge man. Eh?
Okay, okay. So, Tina,
Yeah.
um, better days. What is everything that you've learned through that period that can make you a better person and, you know, advice to the rest of young people that look up to you?
Okay. you need to speak your truth. Yeah. You're not supposed to. I say God did not create us to go through things alone. Yeah. And if it's not working, it's not working. Leave. Leave. Don't stay in a situation that's going to depress you because eventually it's going to kill you. Someone doesn't have to physically put their hands on you for them to murder you. You know what I mean? Like emotionally, you start to die a death that I think is even worse than a physical separation from from this world. Yeah. Engage your family a lot before you make some decisions. Yeah, it's important. They might see something that you didn't. Any red flags, you run. Yeah, don't stay in it, by the way. And let me tell you, there's something that people say. Actually, oh, somebody nani completes me. No one completes you. Not your children, not your mother, not your spouse. No one can complete you. If you go into a relationship with you being 50%, yeah, 50% fine, and you're expecting this person to top you up, you'll possibly leave there when you're at 10%, yeah, or even zero. Because now you see, you're a person who's draining yourself, and now another human being is draining you. Yeah. So for any relationship, actually, whether it's a friendship, whether it's whatever it is, if you're not 100%, there's no one who's gonna give you that. Yeah. So don't ever lie to yourself about that. Um. Also, yes, it's important to talk. It's important to share your story. You could be helping someone, and that's why I don't shy from saying it. And yes, depression is real. Depression is real. Yeah. So if you ever feel like you're at that point, please see a doctor, see a counselor. They'll be able to advise on whether it's something you can sort out holistically or through meds or whatever, whatever form of intervention. Yeah. And above all, take care of yourself. You only have one life to live. Yeah. Experiment, do stuff that you've never done. Like for me, getting into the creative space as a copywriter and everything, was something that I learned on the job as a marketer, but eventually become certified. Yeah. So do things that are completely out of your element. It opens your mind, it broadens your mind. And yeah, it could make you money while you're at it. You never know.
You never know. So,
Yeah.
Tina, I want to take a few comments from the audience. I know we've really ignored them tonight, but it's not because you want to ignore them. It's because I needed Tina to tell her story. So let's see
Yeah.
what they have here. We have Sarah John just say, yeah, people learn to talk. Otherwise, things might just get or turn out to be bad on us when it's too late. Kipro Roda says, thank you for talking
Yes.
about depression. And that is a nice, comment from you, Kipro, because we need to talk about this stuff. We have Susie Love Susie who says unaweza weka if willing, but usijaribu kuandika jina ya somebody like your bay. So like you can try to write
That's
it
me.
if you want to, but never write bay's name, right? We have Chrissy who says, thank you, Tina, for sharing your story. Somebody showing some love. Hey, Tina, it's fire, bombo clat. Tina, you are a strong woman. That says that is Mwiti Kimathi. We have Catherine Osiata who says, I feel you, Tina. I feel you, Tina. Joseph Karuku is watching us from Nairobi, Kenya, Zimmerman. And then we have Anne Seraphine who says depression is real. And of course, every person there, so sorry, hugs. I think Tina is strong enough to actually share her story, and that's why we are learning from one another. And then, so this is where mumejificha. This is a great psychologist and friend, actually, Mucho. James, thank you so much. That's James Murthy, a very great psychologist. I will recommend him any day to anybody, especially if you're dealing with
now let me tell you a
addictions.
secret.
Yes, go ahead.
Now let me tell you a secret. Once is the one who discovered I was depressed.
Okay.
And I can tell you there's nothing like that.
It's a small world.
Must have been a friend for very many years.
And he's equally one of the guys that I get to hang out with every Tuesday on Men's Den because he has great knowledge on this stuff. And I will recommend him any day. Thank you, Mwas, for helping out, Tina. Tina, unfortunately, we are out of time. Any final thoughts?
Thanks for having me, by the way. Thanks for having me. I would never have missed this one for the world. I sleep very early and wake up very early as well. But yeah, this was great because I think these are stories that we need to share. So I'm thankful for the opportunity. And of course, guys can catch me every weekday, 6 to 10 on 96.3 Nation FM in Nairobi. You can stream as well. Yeah, I'm the only person in Kenya, by the way, who does a breakfast show solo. And on top of that, the only chick. So you can tell how good I am.
She is too good to be true. Every single morning on Nation FM. That is 96.3. 96.3 Nation FM.
96.3 Nation FM.
And you can stream her also on online. And of course, she is always amazing. I'm telling you, if you never heard the voice, then you're missing out a lot. Tune your radios to Nation FM because your girl Tina got you. Okay, from me here, it's been fun actually having you, the voice, and actually appreciate the fact that you came on board tonight to share your story and equally just tell people that sometimes you gotta walk out. And I leave you with this quote from Victoria Nka once again.
If the shoe starts pressing you, you do not force the shoe to stay and to fit. The thing that happens when you force the shoe to fit is that it's either you'll tear the shoe, which most likely won't be the case. The other thing that would probably happen is that you'll hurt your feet.
So Wakili 101 is a virtual legal office, if I can just summarize and use, try to make it as simple as possible. So the app gives you an opportunity to interact, know the basics of the law, interact with an advocate, of course, duly registered advocate of the High Court of Kenya. And it's 100% owned by our law firm, and it's managed by an advocate. So if you have a phone, all you need to do is go to Google Play or App Store, download it, register and log in as a common user. It has two interfaces, so you log in as a common user, and it will give you plenty of legal guides on basically everything. What we've just talked about. It will give you a summary of what you need to do when you are thinking about writing a will, when you're buying property, when you are dealing with child maintenance issues, you want an affidavit, So it's an amazing platform that we created, and we're still working on it. We're still getting feedback. We did a soft launch last year in around November, October. We haven't even started marketing it, but we have almost 1,000 downloads and active users. So I encourage the audience to download it. Chat us up. Soon we'll be introducing a call option. So you can call in, and then it's a postpaid kind of service. So if you want to consult for 500 shillings, you pay upfront. You ask me all number of questions. When your credit runs out, the call also terminates.
+25 4725 848 465. The name is Ken Ashimosi. He is from Mark and Partners Advocates, and make sure to write him an email in the event you need more legal advice. Then you can pick it up from there. Remember, log on to Google Play, and of course, equally log on to Play Store, App Store rather.
For those guys who have iPhones,
iPhone users, that is, and get a taste of Wakili 101. Let us know in your feedback how you feel about it. If they have captured most of the questions you will ask in a daily basis from your attorney. Wakili is a Swahili word that simply means my attorney, if I'm not wrong, especially the English and the American speaking people. So have a great night. Remember to log on to your Google Play Store and App Store and find Wakili 101. Till next week, I've been your host, Likuyani Eli, and of course, it is a wrap. Good night. God bless.